So we start from this chapter. By any chance, have you done or have you gone through this chapter before, or should I start right from the scratch?
Yeah, so Miss, I've done this respiration. This is topic 12, right? Yeah. So I've done this chapter in school, but senior Miss, like start from scratch because I know like nothing. I haven't been like paying attention in class because of like everything that's been going on. So I like just start from scratch basically. Like I imagine I know nothing.
Okay, fine. Imagine that you know nothing. Okay, so this chapter, okay, fine. This chapter, the name is cellular respiration. And before we begin this chapter, you should keep in your mind that the goal of this chapter, okay, the goal of this chapter is to make ATP. So this means it will be a journey which will start from, let's say, stage 0, and then the final stage will be that you make ATP. And I'm going to repeat this statement again and again because sometimes when we start a topic and we go deep into the topic, we actually forget what did we start with, right? So that's why, what are we doing? The goal of this chapter is to make ATP. Achha, now, ATP, from your knowledge of AS, you already know that by structure or structurally, what is it? Any idea?
It's a sugar. So it's like there's a ribose sugar, there's a phosphate group, and there's adenine, right? Like there's a base.
Okay, so there's a base, and there is what?
A phosphate group, and then there's a ribose sugar, right?
Ribose sugar. How many phosphate groups can you see over here?
3.
Achha, so by that definition, if it is having a sugar and a base and phosphate groups, can I say that it's a nucleotide?
Yeah.
It is a nucleotide by that definition because the basic definition of a nucleotide is that it should contain these 3 elements, right? So it is a nucleotide, but it is a special nucleotide which we need to power our reactions, power everything inside our body. Okay, let me check your prior knowledge. Do you know the meaning of metabolism?
It's a breakdown of reaction. Miss, I've forgotten.
Like okay. So metabolism, it's okay. Metabolism means all chemical reactions within the living organism. All chemical reactions within the living organism are metabolism. And then we can further bifurcate metabolism into catabolism and anabolism. Cata means to break and ana means to make, right? So different kinds of chemical reactions will be happening all the time in your body. Some of them will be making and some of them will be breaking. And for all of these, your body requires energy. Your body needs to power those reactions. And for powering them, we need a molecule that will give power to it. And that molecule is ATP. You can, consider ATP as a currency. A currency note, whether it's a Qatari currency or a Pak rupee, allows you to carry out transactions, isn't it? And then when we live within a country, let's say, for example, if I'm living in Pakistan, then I'll be doing all transactions in one currency only, which is Pak rupee. Why do we need to have a universal currency in every country? Why don't we just, do transactions in whichever currency we like? What will be the disadvantage?
What, like kiss rate or what? Like,
so for example, if I'm going shopping and someday I would say, okay, I want to buy something in dollars if I'm living in Pakistan, right? And some other day I ask a shopkeeper to deal with me in rupees, and the third day I'll ask him to deal with me in pounds. What problems will... Too complicated, right? Too complicated. It's going to actually create problems. It will not allow you to do transactions smoothly and effectively, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing is in your body. This molecule, which is ATP, it's a molecule which is loaded with energy. It has energy inside it, right? And every time your body needs to do something, for example, your body needs to move. You need to move your hands. You need to contract your muscles. So you need energy, right? Yeah. So again, what will your body do? It will use this currency, which is ATP. And it was same currency hogi. Okay, and which will be used, which will be used to carry out various actions, and those actions can be anabolic or catabolic. Now, can you think about if I just divide all organisms into eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Let's first deal with eukaryotes and then I'll move to prokaryotes. So can you think about uses of energy in eukaryotes?
Uses of energy in eukaryotes.
Consider yourself. Okay, you're also a eukaryote. So consider
Like
your own
growth.
body because it's easier. Growth. Okay, you need energy for growth. Anything else? Anything which you have done in AS. Think about AS topics.
Kya hoga? Like what about reproduction?
Of course, reproduction. Be more specific. Don't just tell me the names of chapters. Tell me the name of the process. Any process which you did in AS chapters. Lots of those.
Oh, like
yes.
I don't know, like digestion or something. I don't know. Like
you didn't do that in AS at all.
Yeah.
There was no topic as digestion. Protein synthesis.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And then active transport. So protein synthesis, active transport. Didn't you do secondary active transport? Not secondary active, sorry. What do you call it? The active loading of sucrose?
Yeah.
Active loading of sucrose. So,
yeah.
Unloading and unloading. So, did it need energy from cellular respiration?
Yeah.
It was active loading, so it needed energy. So, protein synthesis, and in fact, do you remember DNA replication? I don't know how far you remember. DNA replication also needs energy. When you want to separate the two DNA strands and you want the, you want to use one of the DNA strand to serve as a template for forming new strands. So for that also you need energy. So this means replication, protein synthesis, active transport, movement. I'm actually listing down the various uses of energy in eukaryotes. Can you think about some more?
Some more in eukaryotes?
Yeah. No?
No, abada.
Okay, let me just share with you. Okay, there you go. So need for energy in living organisms, and let's consider eukaryotes. So we discussed this, right? Transmission of nerve impulses. Every time, right now when I'm talking to you, okay, although I'm using my muscles of my mouth and my tongue muscles, that also needs energy. But besides that, no action can be done by us unless and until there is transmission of nerve impulse inside your brain. All our actions, they happen because of a thought process in the brain, isn't it? A thought is generated. Okay, so that thought generation is what? In material terms, you will call it as transmission of nerve impulses. I want to contract, or I want to flex my arm. I want to, use my biceps or triceps. I'm going to gym. I want to play tennis or whatever. I need ATP. Okay, the examples that I was giving you from AS were examples of anabolic reactions because protein synthesis is anabolism. And then, if you remember the chapter cell membrane, phagocytosis, pinocytosis, exocytosis, all needs energy. Maintenance of body temperature needs energy. And then, of course, these animals like glowworms and fireflies, they have bioluminescence, right? So that's also energy. And one thing, how could you forget contraction of the heart? That needs energy, right?
Yeah.
Contraction of the heart needs energy. Urine formation needs energy. Breathing needs energy. So many things. And about prokaryotes now. So prokaryotes, do you know what is the meaning of prokaryotes?
Like they are organisms without like a nucleus, right? Without membrane-bound organelles? Without
membrane-bound organelles, but in simple words, what's the other word which you use for prokaryotes? Which organisms are prokaryotes? All?
Bacteria.
All bacteria, right? So prokaryotes are actually organisms which are essentially bacteria. And the reason why we call them prokaryotes is that they don't have a true nucleus, okay? And but they also need energy. Although they are so tiny, but at the same time, they need energy, and their energy need is for these processes. So as A2 students, you might be asked about the need for ATP in prokaryotes as well. So bacteria need to move, they need to beat their cilia, they need to use their flagellum to swim from one place to another if they're living in water or maybe inside the secretions of your body. So to move their flagella and to beat the cilia, they also need ATP from cellular respiration. So you should know, this is one of the learning outcomes, why you need energy in living organisms. So these are the various uses. Achha, what kind of molecule will you use? What is the universal energy molecule? That is ATP, right? And I was discussing this with you that ATP is an energy currency for the body. Think about what function does the currency have in your life. We thought about it. Does currency need to be universal within one country? Yes.
Yeah.
And then what is the structure of ATP? That's also one of your learning outcomes. So,
Miss, exam
you need to know.
I need to be able to identify the ATP structure molecule, huh?
Of course, they'll ask you. They'll ask you, right? 3 phosphate groups. Achha. And the reason why it has 3 phosphate groups is that your body, once it makes ATP, ab isne bana liya na ATP, right? Now your body needs to use it. Currency ko hum use karte hain na kisi kaam ke liye. For example, you want to buy shoes for yourself. So you'll take that currency and buy shoes. You can take the same currency and buy a house, and you can take the same currency, buy clothes. The currency is the same, but
you mean AMP, ADP, ATP, na? How do you make that?
Exactly.
Monophosphate, diphosphate, triphosphate. So yeah, okay, I get that. That makes
exactly. हाँ. तो मतलब कि एक दफा आपकी बॉडी में ATP बन गया ना, तो then let's say your body wants to contract a muscle, so it will do this reaction. Let me just use another slide. आपको muscle contract करना है, तो then your body will break this down. It's a reversible reaction.
ATP plus pi, na? Yeah.
Inorganic phosphate.
Yeah. And then ADP पे अगर आप H2O, then वो AMP बन जाएगा ना?
Exactly. But usually क्या होता है कि आपकी body जो है ना वो ATP से ADP तो बहुत बनाती है lots of times, and this is interchangeable, यानी यहाँ से यहाँ भी जाएगी और यहाँ से यहाँ भी जाएगी. It's it keeps on happening. But ADP से AMP जो है ना, that happens very I can say less frequently or very occasionally, because why, I'm not going to go into the detail of why right now, because it's going to actually drift us to another topic. But basically this is the reaction that will take place when your body needs energy. Now I'll show you something. Okay, back then on the previous slide we could see the structure of ATP, ठीक है? And आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि the energy required for the formation of ATP is the energy released during the oxidation of food. This sentence is very, very deep, very deep. It actually means going back to the initial goal of this chapter. What was the initial goal? What did I say in the beginning?
कि ATP हमें बनाना
है, ठीक है? अच्छा, अब जब बनाना है ना, तो कहाँ से बनाएंगे? We will make it from the energy released during the oxidation of food. So this actually means that even before ATP, what do we need? We need food. Okay, we need food. And food can be anything. It can be carbs, it can be fats, and it can be proteins. And we are eating all these organic foods all the time, throughout the day. ठीक है, हमें करना क्या है कि इन तीनों के अंदर the common thing is all three of them have CH bonds. Is it right?
Yeah.
So within their CH bonds is trapped chemical energy or chemical potential energy, right? What will your body do? It will use the trapped chemical potential energy within the CH bonds and utilize it to make ATP. How? Let me give you the example of only carbs. I'm not going to details of fats and proteins, but just to give you a simple example, carb. This is carb and this is CHO. You eat one slice of bread, your body knows very well how to oxidize it. And with that, your body will produce this plus ATP. So your body has, what has your body done? It has used the chemical energy, potential energy, which was trapped over here to convert it into ATP through the oxidation of food.
सही है.
ठीक है. अच्छा, अब बना लिया ATP, इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? करेंसी बना ली. अब ये करेंसी, another important thing is your body never stores ATP. Never. जैसे हम तो पैसे अगर खर्च करते हैं तो उसको स्टोर भी करते हैं ना, we save money, but the body never stores ATP, and the reason for this is that the turnover rate of ATP is very, very high. What does it mean? That ATP can be very quickly broken down to ADP, an inorganic phosphate, and the same thing can happen the other way around as well. So this means that the rate of turnover of ATP in your body is so fast that your body doesn't need to store excess ATP, right?
Yeah. Right. Okay. So,
okay.
So it stores it in the form of ADP or what?
No, actually the amount of ATP that is found in your body is very less. I think it's not more than a few grams. Okay. So what happens is that, let's say it's itna hota hai ki it can support the very basic actions that are taking place in your body. For example, your heart contraction and breathing in it. If you want to do some extra work, let's say if I'm doing some extra work right now, I'm speaking to you, so I'm using more energy. So in that case, the body will get a signal. You know, cell signaling mechanism, you must have done it in AS. And so that signal is enough to stimulate the mitochondria to generate ATP, more and more ATP. Not even generate, but also to hydrolyze more ATP.
Okay. Yep.
Right? Okay.
That makes sense.
Acha. Let me show you another slide. Yes, in fact, this also gives you a better idea of what is the connection of ATP, or what is the importance of ATP in our body. You can see that this diagram is showing you that ATP is an intermediate molecule between energy yielding reactions and energy requiring reaction. The energy yielding reaction is actually what? It's actually the oxidation of food. यानी आप खाना खाएंगे तो energy बनेगी. ठीक है? आपने यहाँ पे somewhere over here the oxidation of food is taking place. हो गई oxidation of food जिससे ATP बन गई. अच्छा, अब it's there inside your body, but very few grams. If your body needs more energy, तो फौरन उसको जो है वो signal मिलेगा to stimulate ATP hydrolysis. So this means that ये reaction दोनों तरफ से जा सकता है. This reaction can go from left to right and from right to left. If it's going from left to right, this means reversible है. Left to right का मतलब क्या? Synthesis हो रही है या नहीं हो रही?
हो रही है. ATP like नहीं?
हो रही है, बिल्कुल हो रही है. And right to left is what?
के ATP synthesis नहीं हो रही. Like क्या हो रहा है? Like your
ATP breakdown हो रहा है. ATP plus water gives rise to ADP plus inorganic phosphate plus 30.5 kilojoules of energy. ठीक है? And this 30.5 kilojoules of energy is a constant. ठीक है?
Yeah, okay.
सही. और ये कहाँ से आया ये 30.5 joules, 30.5 kilojoules of energy? What have I written? It comes from food. कहाँ से आया food? ये इधर. ठीक है? The first step was that you ate food. Then you oxidized food. Oxidation के बाद ATP बन गया. अब बन गया. अब उस ATP के अंदर जो है ना, वो फूड के अंदर जो ट्रैप्ड एनर्जी थी ना, वो ATP के अंदर चली गई. ठीक है? So this means कि जब भी आप ATP को ब्रेक डाउन करोगे तो वो वाली एनर्जी जो फूड के अंदर ट्रैप थी ना, वो ऐसे रिलीज हो जाएगी. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Right?
Yeah, I completely got it. I was like, perfect.
That's why we say ATP is an intermediate molecule between energy yielding reactions and energy requiring reactions. Now you tell me, Abdullah, if I ask you that the reaction from left to right, is it anabolism or catabolism? What will you say?
Wait, Anna
Left to
is
right.
Anna is breakdown. Anna is making. Okay, so
if you want to remember, एक second. Let me tell you something. Catabolism जो है ना, उससे एक sound आ रहा है किसका? Cut का. Cut means breaking.
सही है.
ठीक है. तो इसका मतलब catabolism breaking. हाँ. अब मुझे बताओ, the reaction from left to right is making or breaking?
Making.
From right to left?
Breaking.
ठीक.
So hydrolysis of ATP is a catabolic reaction.
Correct. Hydrolysis of ATP is catabolic. Synthesis of ATP is anabolic. ठीक.
I get that.
हाँ, ये भी एक this is a textbook जिसका नाम सॉपर है, तो इसमें वही वाला रिएक्शन रिपीट किया गया है. You can see I'm zooming into it. So साथ लिखा हुआ है ATP. बेटा ये इसका नहीं है. It's not your own textbook. It's some other textbook. मैंने वहाँ से screenshot लेके I just made it a part of my notes. I'll share
I know this book. I know this book. मेरे पास ये है, ये वाली है.
Red wali.
No, I have the green wali.
Achha, the green wali. Okay. It's okay. So again, what reaction is this? Hydrolysis or what's the opposite of hydrolysis? Catabolism. Achha, another name for catabolism is hydrolysis, and another name for क्या कहते हैं उसको? Anabolism is condensation. You know what condensation is, right?
Yep. Remove H2O.
ठीक है. हाँ. ये क्या है? Is this condensation? This one?
कौन सा वाला? This is anabolism, na?
Condensation.
Yeah, this is condensation. Yeah.
ठीक है. अच्छा. Now, in this chapter, another word is used for condensation, and that word which is used is phosphorylation. And this is, you need to know the meaning of this word. Basically, phosphorylation एक general word है, जो कि if you Google it, you will see कि the addition of inorganic phosphate to an organic compound is known as phosphorylation. So, अगर आप इसको गौर से देखो तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं? हम inorganic phosphate को एक organic compound के साथ ही तो जोड़ रहे हैं. This is organic. ठीक है? इसके अंदर ribose भी है, because वही चीजें हैं ना. Nucleotide तो ये है, ribose भी है, adenine भी है, phosphate भी है. So by definition, it's organic. So the addition of a phosphate group to any organic molecule is phosphorylation. So hence, by that definition, this reaction, जिसको हम condensation कह रहे हैं, इसको हम phosphorylation भी कह सकते हैं. बल्कि अब हम इसको condensation कहना बंद कर देंगे. Now I'll be only using the word phosphorylation. समझ आ रही है बात?
So the addition of inorganic phosphate to any organic molecule is phosphorylation. So yeah.
Exactly. अच्छा, let's once again look at this reaction. फिर से देखते हैं. ATP plus water hydrolysis will give you ADP plus inorganic phosphate plus 30.6 kilojoules of energy per mole of ATP. ये तो हो गया आपका hydrolysis. अगर हम उल्टे तरफ से जाएंगे, right to left जाएंगे, so this is condensation, or I can also say that this is phosphorylation. ठीक है? अच्छा, अब एक और चीज पे आते हैं. Study this slide and tell me what did you understand and what am I trying to explain you as far as this slide is concerned.
So that's condensation requires ATP synthase as an enzyme. Hydrolysis ATPase. How do you pronounce that? ATPase? What is it?
ATPase.
Okay, ATPase. So synthesis of so condensation reaction, Joya, which is synthesis of ATP is anabolic, and that requires ATP synthase enzyme. So yeah, and then hydrolysis of क्या कहते हैं, ATP, so is catabolic reaction, and that is ATPase enzyme. सही है मिस, ये मुझे समझ आ गया. I understand this all.
ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब हुआ अब बहुत सारे वर्ड्स आ गए, राइट? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई कैन यूज सिनोनिम्स लाइक condensation is the same as phosphorylation,
Phosphorylation, yeah.
Acha, since and okay, let me use another synonym: condensation, phosphorylation, or synthesis of ATP. Correct?
Correct. That's correct. Yeah.
आसान है इसको. अच्छा, अब अगर हम उल्टे तरफ से जाएंगे, यानी कि if you are going to break down ATP, तो वो क्या होगा? Hydrolysis, or you can say catabolism या breakdown. And for that, we need an enzyme that can actually break ATP. So for that, we need ATPase, just like lipase, protease. ठीक है? तो ये हो गया ATPase, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the most frequently done, the mistake that is done by students is they think, basically, you know what you are taught in ASK, who's the powerhouse of your cell? Which organelle?
Mitochondria सिखाते हैं ना.
Mitochondria. उसको क्यों कहते हैं powerhouse? What is made inside the mitochondria?
ATP.
ATP तो बनता है.
हाँ.
तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि इस रिएक्शन को माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया के अंदर होना चाहिए, राइट? सो बेसिकली when ATP needs to be made, it is made in the mitochondria, and the enzyme that is necessary for the making of ATP is ATP synthase. तो जब आप माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया में ATP की सिंथेसिस की बात करते हो, never talk about ATPase. उस वक्त ATPase की बात करने की जरूरत नहीं है. उस वक्त सिर्फ और सिर्फ हम एक ही एंजाइम की बात करेंगे, and that is ATP synthase. This is what I want to stress on, because this is the frequently made mistake by students. ठीक है?
एक सेकंड. So जब मेरे पास ATP मॉलिक्यूल है and मैं उसको सिंथेसाइज कर रहा हूं, so that's a condensation reaction and I'm wait.
ATP मॉलिक्यूल नहीं है मेरे पास, ऐसे नहीं बोलो. आपने क्या बोला? मेरे पास ATP मॉलिक्यूल है और मैं उसको सिंथेसाइज कर रहा हूँ. क्या मतलब? आपके पास है ही नहीं, इसलिए तो सिंथेसाइज कर रहे हैं आप.
ओके.
ठीक है? So you want to make ATP. The ATP making machine in your cell is the mitochondria, right? Mitochondria is the powerhouse because it wants to make ATP. अब बनाने के लिए mitochondria को 3 ingredients चाहिए. क्या क्या चाहिए? It needs ADP, it needs this, and it needs this, right?
Yeah.
और ये mitochondria आराम से बना लेगा. Now to do this, never quote this enzyme. This is not needed to make ATP. This is needed to make ATP. This one.
Okay. Yeah.
ठीक है? अच्छा. Do you think I'm going very fast?
नहीं, miss, perfect speed. It's good.
Perfect speed. अच्छा, okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm actually moving on to this concept of, sometimes they ask you, what's the difference between an energy storage molecule and an energy currency molecule? So basically, currency molecule kabhi store nahi hota, and that's ATP only, right? Whereas the energy storage molecule hai na, wo store hota hai, like glycogen and lipids. You know what glycogen is, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the excess glucose molecules. हाँ, तो ग्लाइकोजन कहाँ पे होता है in our body?
उससे बनता है, मैं क्या कहते हैं?
नहीं, होता कहाँ पे? Where's the glycogen found?
Like everywhere. Like you consume it. So
liver. हाँ.
Acha, it's stored in the liver, right? Or what?
It's stored in the liver. For example, we eat glucose. हम glucose खाते हैं in the form of burgers or bread or जो भी. हमारी body में glucose जाएगा. Whatever we need for generating energy, वो use हो जाएगा. जो extra होगा, it will be stored as glycogen in the liver and in the muscles also. ठीक है?
Okay.
All the people who are, very active as far as their physical life is concerned, they are athletes or they play cricket or tennis or any sport, their glycogen stores of the liver and the muscle are great. And they need those glycogen stores whenever they have to, exercise or play a game.
Yeah.
वो तो सही है, लेकिन the ATP molecule should never be written as a storage molecule. ये आपको difference पता होना चाहिए that in your body, these molecules are storage molecules. The kind of energy that they store is this one. ATP is never a storage molecule. Then what is it? You will say it's an immediate donor of energy to the cell's energy requiring reactions. You should write this terminology. It's an immediate donor of energy to the cell's energy requiring reactions. And just to give you an example, a resting human being, you don't need to actually memorize these, but just for your interest, it uses about 40 kgs of ATP. हम जब कोई खास काम नहीं भी करते ना, resting की बात हो रही है, we use 40 kg. At any one given time, right now, if I try to find out the amount of ATP you have right now, it's only 5 grams. ठीक है? Just imagine. But ये कैसे हो सकता है? Because the rate of conversion is very, very fast. It's very fast. इतना fast है कि जब आप exercise करते हैं ना, तो जिस speed पे ATP बनता है ना in your body is 0.5 kgs per minute. Look at the high turnover rate.
Yeah, it's really fast. It's really fast.
Very, very fast, right? So
yeah,
there's no need to store.
Excellent. Immediate donor of energy to the cells. क्या था मिस? वो red में जो लिखा हुआ है ऊपर. Immediate donor of energy to the cells.
Energy requiring reactions.
Yeah, I get that.
Now coming to the point, I won't be doing this. Let me just do this. There's a question that is very frequently asked, and that question is, why is ATP considered to be, okay, let me go to the textbook. Why is ATP considered to be a universal energy currency? This is the most frequently asked structured question, 5 to 6 mark ka. So these 3 bullet points are the answers. I want you to read these points yourself. Just silently read it. And you can note it down कि ये question बहुत frequently पूछा जाता है exam में.
Right? This question है क्या?
The question is, can you see my screen? Huh? You can see my screen. The question is, I'll just write down the question. Why is, explain, why is ATP a universal energy currency? You can write down this question. So by the way, Abdullah, today is the first class, so I'll just end the class right now in 2 to 3 minutes, and inshallah, पहले हम schedule set कर लेते हैं, because actually today I have some other tuition which I have to push a little bit. So that's why आज हम अभी 2-3 मिनट में खत्म कर देंगे, फिर I'll make a special schedule for you and I'll share that. फिर हम उसके हिसाब से चलेंगे, right?
Yeah, Miss, जल्दी से वो schedule बना देगा, so we can go with that. And then also,
and I would also I would strongly advise you, okay, since you are doing a very fast track course with me, so you need to read whatever I have taught you.
Yeah, Miss, I will. वही मैं आपसे वही पूछने वाला था. Miss, can you add me to your Google Classroom so I can then go through the notes?
Yeah.
So, for example, Miss, आपके Google Classroom, I'll be able to go through the cellular respiration one, like that. Like I'll be able to go through that, or?
Yes. And also not only cellular respiration but also the textbook. क्योंकि ऐसे होता है कि ये जो notes बने हुए हैं ना, of course they were made from the green वाली book. हम उसको update करते रहते हैं, but reading the new book is a must.
Yeah, I know, Miss. I have the new book open in front of me, and like I'm just cutting off stuff that we're going through from the syllabus. So like I'm just reading it.
So read these 3 points. Read it yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
Right? So high turnover rate, the hydrolysis of one ATP molecule releases a lot of energy, which is enough for fueling a reaction. ATP is a stable molecule. And I can add 1 or 2 points more, that ATP is water soluble and small in size, so it can move very freely throughout the cell into various organelles. So you can add that as well. Water soluble and small in size. and it can also, you write down, can easily pass the partially permeable membrane.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll end here.